Beer, 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 beer. Hop on brewerytours.com.au because beer.
Every business knows they need great marketing, but it's often hard to know what works and what you should be doing, let alone finding the time to do it. Abby and her team at Crisp Communications take all this hassle away, creating beautiful marketing that helps businesses put their best foot forward. They don't just deliver great results, they're also super easy to work with and practice what they preach with great communication all along the way. So if you need a new website, new branding, new brochures, or even help with your podcast, head to crispcoms.co to find out more.
Ashcroft to the outside, Wilmot loves them on the fly, had a long time to think about it. Same result! That's what he gives you off half-back. Wilmot, what a start. Now is the time to give it to Will Ashcroft from 45 out. Morris the market will let it go. He apologises as he takes the mark. You've got nothing to be sorry for. Again, setting that up, and here's Zorko. Wilmot's got a second in mind, and the Gabba has come to life. Ashcroft, Rampy, Ashcroft with all his composure. Some nice craft there from Levi. Ashcroft! Oh, the line! Archie! You're saying there's a chance? The Swans hang on. Nothing can make up for the pain of a grand final loss.
The roller coaster of the 2025 Brisbane Lions season continues. The Gabba was once a fortress, and now it is anything but, to put it mildly. Injuries across all the lines. That back six is looking as disconnected as they ever have. Yet we still managed to get within 2 points of the Swans on Saturday evening. It is the Brisbane Lions Fancast. Thanks to Hop on Brewery Tours and Crisp Communications. And it's JB and Patrick here to talk about a very, very frustrating game of footy against the Swans, the grand final replay. A little bit of housekeeping to start things off, and then we can just forget about it for the rest of the show. Another big shout out to people that have thrown money our way for our tip jar. Bronte, thank you so much for shooting us some dollary dues. If you do like the show, you do like what we put out each and every week, and you feel like, hey, I like those guys, maybe I should shout them a coffee or something, you can do that. The link's available at our website. So thanks so much to Bronte and for others across the last couple of weeks. We've also got a couple of new shirt designs available at the website as well, so check those out. All right, let's get into this one because there was a lot of changes as it was. Froggy went out, Tommy Duday came in, which we did sort of speak about on the show last week. One we didn't talk about was Lachie Neale with the surprise quad injury that came out on Tuesday, perhaps? Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. Suddenly
I feel like it came out like right after we dropped the episode.
Yeah, so that was cool. Fun. And the question was, well, are we going to do a like-for-like swap and bring in a Dev Rob, or are we going to back others to fill that role and get a few more midfield minutes out of Rayner, Bailey, Levi? As it was, that was the case. But the big annoying one was Starcevic, a late out just before the game, which means no Answorth, no Payne, no Starcevic, and no Froggy Lester in that premiership back six. And it looked shaky when Isaac Heaney's kicking 5 goals and allowed an acre of space in there. You have to think, yep, that's a group that's not worked together very often.
No, we've been a bit unlucky. I think just it all happening at once with that. Although we did see it last year with the Gold Coast game, but at the same time, it's what can you really do when you're left with that number, or people trying to do the right things, and Tom Duday tried to do the right things, but it just didn't really work. The spaces between Harris and Gardner and him were just really big, and then when you're losing out another one, you've got sort of Rev down there kind of filling in a little bit. And I mean, can you tell me who the defenders were all game? Because it sort of just seemed like it was, Wilmot was playing centre half forward for the most part.
But you better believe we're going to talk about those goals.
And then you sort of got, Jasper. I think probably the plan, if Starcevich was there, was to push Jasper further up the field to afford a bit more midfield time to Levi Ashcroft and Marshall, as it were. It kind of, again, it was just, I mean, you said it pretty well in the opening. We just had very important structural players missing kind of on all of the lines, and it just led to a complete, like, the cohesion wasn't there, and there were other things. But as far as the midfield group went, I mean, they smashed them in clearance. I think it was more post clearance ground ball that we sort of struggle with the most. So,
yeah.
I mean, going back to those changes, we ended up, Will McLaughlin, he came in for Lockie, which I think we both said that on the Discord, that we thought that a small forward would come in and they would try and cater it. So, good on us. I had a shout that maybe Brain could come in and push everything forward, and in hindsight, that could have been a really good thing.
Yeah, look, depending on how this hamstring is for Stas, I reckon he would be probably in line to come in next week. They did say it's awareness and he should be right, but there's a trip to Perth off a short break, so it's going to be a tight one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, having the two kind of lockdown guys that we saw, it was such a pivotal, a pivotal change in the back end of last year, and I know Brain kind of copped it for that Collingwood game at the MCG, but largely it was a defence first mentality with him, and it was him that had a really, really good game in this corresponding fixture last year against Sydney. Yeah. Some of those big punches and stuff like that. So, but we got a little bit found out. Just the forward line pressure. Henry Smith was really good against Collingwood, but the Lizard just ran around him, on numerous occasions, making him kind of look like a witch's hat.
Yeah.
And I said to you off air, their best players were Heaney and Warner and the Lizard and Grundy, and it's like, cool, good job, but you didn't show up on grand final day, so sucked in, all of you. And that's as bitter as I'm going to get, maybe, and then we'll kind of move on, because at least we've got that.
There's definitely some bitterness there. I must be said, Sydney did an excellent job at shutting down our corridor movement. They made us make silly decisions. It was so frustrating, like ill-discipline, broken tackles again. Like last week against Collingwood, it was the first half where it cost us a couple of goals. It was seemingly all night where just tackles that aren't sticking. And yeah, the old frustration of us not being able to kick a set shot to save ourselves, including so many out on the full. And meanwhile, you got Heaney just snapping them left foot, right foot, wherever. Doesn't really matter. We'll get it through. Who cares? That adds salt into the wound, but it's certainly not why we lost. Just dumb things and like getting stuck in sort of third gear, skill execution, just very little frustrating things. Because I thought, as you said, we smashed them in clearance. I thought all in all, when we played our footy was better. Like we were playing the better footy, especially in the first half. It's just like we were doing dumb stuff that was just letting them get easy goals. And as I said, just like Heaney was just allowed whatever space he bloody wanted in that forward 50. No one wanted to go within cooey of him, and he just had a field day. So very frustrating, because it was a very winnable game, and I guess we could have said that against Adelaide, GWS, Melbourne, North, all these things that are like, yeah, very winnable games that have come back to haunt us to this point, and now we find ourselves really needing to, well, if we want to get top 4, we need to win both of these games and hope other results go our way. If we want to play finals, we have to win at least one of them. Because if we lose 2, we're in real danger of missing out altogether. And you know what? Maybe top 4 isn't for us this year, because our form at the Gabba has been absolutely putrid, so maybe we don't want to play there.
Yeah, the Gabba thing is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good.
I think, yeah, there were across it's a hard game to sort of look at and digest, because I think in many different phases of the game existing, there there were different things. But all in all, I think that Sydney looked like they had a plan going inside forward 50, whereas we didn't. We got to kind of half forward and then went, shit, where do we put it? We weren't looking for small hit-up leads. The amount of times we go deep to the pocket is like... It boggles my mind a bit like the Dane Zorko inside 50 kick, which was not a culpable thing this time. He did an inside 50 kick and it resulted in a goal. Fantastic. But, a few weeks ago, what was it? He had like 6 inside 50s and they all either went out or were intercepted. And it's like, we know to kick the ball to guys on the inside and to see them blaze away when you've got guys sort of at that 35-metre kind of more or less in front area going, just kick them the ball there. And I don't understand it, how it can happen. It seemed like it was a bit... It seems like a young forward line without a bit of direction, which can kind of be understood to a degree because, week on week, the week before we're playing with only sort of one fewer of the small forwards because, we didn't bring in a person for Lohman. We had Marshall playing there as kind of a half forward. And then this week we're bringing in an extra one and it's sort of... What are they doing? Like, are they... Please, I really would like... And we said this the back end of last year with the defence. We said, can you please pick something, a structure or a thing, and just stick with it? And I know that Day had an absolute nightmare in the twos before this game. And you can't drop Henry Smith based on his performance against Collingwood. But I actually think with all of the sort of system issues and the pillars that were kind of missing in the team, that Day probably would have been a bit better for our structure in hindsight, which, agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. That's just a feeling that I've got. But yeah, it was so frustrating. And the amount of times as well, like they picked it up, surprisingly, I want to say that Brownie and Buckley did like a good amount of analysis. They picked up that we were getting smashed in ground ball, and Chris Fagan mentioned that at halftime as well. I picked that up in the second quarter against Collingwood, where I said our ground ball were getting smashed and the missed tackles. And I think in this game, what was happening is because Sydney was so hell-bent on pressing us one-on-one, they were winning the ground ball, which was forcing the next player to come up, and then they were getting bypassed. It was very reminiscent of the GWS game last year, in Canberra, where we were just getting done in the initial one-on-one, and that was enabling them to just transition the ball from complete back half to front half.
They absolutely torched us on turnover. Absolutely torched us on turnover. So many coast-to-coast goals and right through the middle, which is what we normally do to teams. Like, that's our bread and butter, and they just absolutely flipped it on its head.
Well, it's what happens when you've got your one-on-one defenders that are normally, you go, okay, one-on-one, Leicester's winning the vast majority of them. Starcevic is winning the majority of them. Harris Andrews is winning the list goes on and on. And you have people, Duday was obviously lacking in confidence. I would be surprised if we see him again this season. Not a discredit to me. I was going into this, we sort of said it was a bonus. We said this time, the pressure's off. This egg on our face. We fucking jinxed it, man.
Yeah, it's like pressure's off. They haven't got, their tall forwards. Yeah, McLean might come back, but that's about it. So now's the chance you can throw him in, and the rest of the back six should hold up. Suddenly Starcevic goes out, and you realise just how rattled that back six is. But yeah, you'd think Froggy comes back. I wasn't expecting much, if not anything, from Tom Duday. Basically, just get through the game. Yeah, if you take an intercept mark, if you kill some one-on-ones, that's a bonus. But I'm really not expecting anything from you, Tom Duday. I'm expecting the rest of the group to do the bulk of the work. But
the rest of the group were different people, so it didn't allow that level of, bringing someone into the team to facilitate maybe a little bit of downward performance. And I think across the board, that's a little bit where it was at, because you sort of go, well, ordinarily, if you have like Lohman and Archie and Cameron, you go, well, okay, one of them will be up, the other two won't. although we have seen earlier on in the year that hasn't necessarily been the case. And this time you go, well, McLaughlin was pretty ineffectual aside from his goal, which I loved. Also, for a guy that can jump so high, he has this weird way of jumping whilst not leaving the ground, which happened like 2 or 3 times where I'm like, hold on, what the hell is going on here? It's like he's pushing the earth, and then it's so he's sort of, I don't understand. You're a high jumper, like project, use your plyometrics. So it's like the passengers that you're able to afford are then being relied on, and you're like, okay, cool, this isn't working for this, that, or the other reason. Like, I don't think Marshall had a bad game, but
I thought he did some good things.
Yeah, but you needed more from it. But we're in a situation where it's like, well, Lachie Neale's not there, so you're losing that input, and he didn't exactly have like a better game than normal. I think Levi played really well.
And that's going to be a big talking point. Is like, he finally gets some midfield minutes, and I thought he was exceptional, actually.
I think that there were. It's a sort of. I mean, to be honest, when you look at those and you win the clearance, everyone looks great, and when you don't win the clearance, everyone looks a little bit shit. So there will be vision where they win the clearance and he's sort of floundering. Yeah, and there will be ones where he. Yes, sorry, go on, man.
James Jordan obviously did a big job on Hugh McCluggage, and especially with Lachie Neale out of the picture, that was always going to happen. It probably would have happened anyway. I mean, I think that sort of torch has been passed on to Hugh now of like, you're getting the tagger. There will still be teams that tag otherwise, but I guess it's just having Lachie Neale there does allow for others to get involved, and Lachie Neale is a clearance. That's his one wood, as they say. So
clearance and ground ball are his two things, and we were okay in clearance, but the ground ball is where we really struggled.
So I don't know. I'm not sitting here, a day after the fact going, God, we really miss Lachie Neale. In fact, when he was out, I was like, yeah, that's obviously shit, but I think that's a position we can cover much easier than another defender, which happened to be the case anyway, or even a key forward. I think with Gallup still playing and Day playing in the twos, I think that's something that you can cover. But as that back six, that's just been a revolving door at the moment. So when Neale was out, I was like, yeah, that sucks. 2-time Brownlow medalist, been our best player for a long time, not this year. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We've shown in the past, even with him missing for big stretches, we can still win games. And it excited me that we're going to get more midfield minutes from Bailey and Rayner and Levi, especially, who's drafted as an inside mid and has not attended a CBA at all. So he finally got that and really showed that's where he belongs. So I was really impressed with that. Both the Ashcrofts were really good, in fact. So I thought both him and Will had great games. So yeah, I think it's something moving forward. I don't know. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on oh no, that screwed us. We need to bring Dev in, another hard-bodied inside mid type operator. I think it'll be the same, and hopefully, if Fags is right that it's just hamstring awareness for Stars, he can come back in. Froggy will come back in, bring a bit of settlement to that back six, because we're going to need it. Because they got Miss Frederick, Josh Tracy, obviously Patrick Voss. They've got some big bodies down there in the forward line. So we'll have a chat about Freo a bit later on. So hopefully we can get some cattle back.
Yeah, there's not really too much to say. Although I will, Levi's forward craft is also very good. So if he can, do his best sort of career path, not kind of end of career path of Jason Ackermanis, you're winning. Just do what he did until keep your mouth shut, though.
Yeah, look, just as I said, very, very frustrating game. Sydney were very good. I don't know, it's just you got to pay a little attention to the guys can break games. And I thought, actually, 40 did a pretty good job in the ruck against Grundy again. But, the Henry Smith on Nick Blakey matchup, we know that is a matchup that works so well with Cal Archie.
It was so bad.
I don't know, and I'm not sure if that's a case of Sydney manipulating that matchup to make it work for them, or us just being ill-disciplined, or like Cal Archie has had a really quiet year by his standards he set high standards in the finals last year, and I guess we all just assume and hope that him and Lohman and stuff are all just going to carry on from that. And Logan Morris has, but Lohman and Archie have definitely regressed. And now the rumours are that Cal Archie and Adelaide are almost a done deal at this stage, so that's pretty upsetting, but that's the price you pay of being a good team and making finals 7-8 years in a row and winning a premiership. So you can't hold on to everyone, and it looks like probably Cal and Stas at the end of the year maybe out the door. But I was a bit more confident about Cal staying, but now that this this chat about him going to Adelaide's getting a bit louder, that's...
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, so...
Well, there you go.
I don't watch Gettable.
No, oh God, no. That was coming from that Michelangelo Rucci fella, that 5AA. Yeah. Yeah.
What's
so
he that Ninja Turtles, man?
Yep. So that is the rumor that's swirling around at the moment. So, and it makes sense. He hasn't signed a contract yet, but
you can't begrudge these individuals doing that.
No, you can't. You can't, because they're worth money, and he'd be getting paid so far unders at the moment, Cal Archie, for what he's...
Yeah, but in fairness, we did kind of save his career. He was doing fuck all at Suns, and that can sometimes be the case. And he's probably in a position where he's got a couple of new kids or a new kid where it's like, well, you move before they're kind of cognizant of what's going on and they've made friends. So now is the time to strike for him. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and look, he deserves a payday and to set himself up, because he's been a great servant. Him and Stas, you can't really begrudge premiership players when they look to move elsewhere if it means they're going to get what they want out of an AFL career, whether it be monetary or if Stas really is chasing midfield minutes, there's no chance he's going to get it here, because he's what's our best one-on-one small defender has been for. Why would you do that? So anyway, aside from that, my top three for the game.
Top three moments.
Yeah.
I always forget this. God damn it, man.
I did love the absolute shithousery of Logan Morris pinching that goal from Will Ashcroft. Like, that does not get any more that's like cardinal sin stuff. And he knew as soon as he marked it, and he had to apologise, and Will's reaction was pretty good at the time. The Moddy goal's obviously brilliant. Like, he's making a name for himself, just drifting in on the weak side and coming in almost at the same spot every time, sort of just off centre, coming in from that weak, fat side and just like draining it. Two of them was obviously great. And I had my third one. I had it lined up and I missed it. I saw Buddy Franklin when I was walking in the gate, and I did a bit of oh my God.
Did you see Gout?
Did not.
He was like, there was a box with like Lachie Neale, Franklin, and Gout and his kind of entourage. So
I did also love Zorko's spoil. I can't remember. It might have been in the third quarter. I think it was. I think it might have been Sheldrick. He probably had 3 or 4 meters on Zorko running back to the goal. Zorko made up and spoiled the ball out. I thought that was pretty good as well.
Yes. Things I liked of 3 to name. Levi's forward craft for a goal, and the 2 Wilmot goals, because I'm lazy and each one deserves its own spot. Like, how players, Eddie Betts had his pocket and that sort of thing. Do we need to find out like the angle for Wilmot and have like Wilmot's obtuse or whatever trigonometry shit's going on there? It's not an obtuse angle, but it's not an acute angle either.
No, I guess if you're looking at like the mouth of goals to the center of the 50s and 90, it's probably like, I don't know, 10 degrees either side of that.
But I think we're getting into like snap zones kind of chat territory, which I don't think we want to rehash that.
No, we're getting into...
Actually, you know what? My number 3 is Eric Hipwood absolutely flushing it on his right peg.
Oh, yeah.
It was better than Heaney's one from there.
Yeah.
Like, he hit it way truer than Heaney did. So Hipwood is a better player than Heaney. And fight me.
You're going to upset a lot of people saying that, because when you lose a game, Eric Hipwood becomes the whipping boy. So yeah, look, it certainly wasn't a great game, and as I said, you know what, Sydney's they won 7 in a row or something now, and they've beaten some good teams. They've beaten some bad teams as well.
Yeah, but they're going to get beaten by 140 points by Geelong next week, and Cameron's going to kick 16 goals. Like, that's just the kind of insane, frustrating, annoying season that this is. Because I said early on when the fixture came out, it wasn't particularly kind to us, but I still stand steadfast that last season was a harder fixture. But far out, man. When you look at the caliber of teams we've played and when we've played them, et cetera, et cetera.
And the teams we've played twice as well.
Yeah, no wonder our percentage is shit. Like, that's the reason why. It's not because our team's not good. It's because we're essentially playing a top 8 team every week, even if they're not technically.
Copped Melbourne and North in that brief period of time where they were actually playing like really decent footy as well.
Yeah, we were like, we'll fall asleep a little bit. But, that said, to me, I look at that game and go, we lost by 4 goals. I don't know about you, but to me,
it
2 points,
bigger.
2 points is
felt so much
fanciful.
Bigger than 2 points, yeah.
But I hope everyone
on one hand, it feels...
Sorry?
On one hand, it feels bigger than 2 points, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, God, you fix like 2 or 3 little things and you actually win that game as well. Whether it be the set shots, when Bailey had that shot after the siren at 3/4 time, I was like, all right, if he kicks this, then, we're a genuine shot here, and he sprayed it. Dizzy Gardner with a double 50-metre penalty. And
Ashcroft as well, after... Yeah. Ashcroft at quarter time and Rayner at the beginning of the fourth quarter, all missing the same spot. But, yeah, spitefully, I hope everyone enjoyed listening to DJ Otzi with 10 seconds to go, knowing the game was gone. So you can have it at the MCG and you can have it at the Gabba.
Yeah. No good. I think if this loss had have happened 10 weeks ago, I'd be so fine with it. But I guess the context of what it actually means for us, top 4, finals, all that sort of stuff, that just makes it so much more frustrating. Because I think Sydney is a really good team. As I said, they've won 7 on the trot, and they've got to be in their bonnet about the grand final last year, and fair enough too. So,
so they were missing 6 from the grand final, and we were missing 8. If there's any kind of argument about that, and I think the 8 that we are missing are kind of quite a bit more important than their 6. Because who are they missing? Like Marty,
Logan McDonald. Parker obviously is another one, so I can't remember the 6 off the top of my head. But I
can't even remember the 8 that we're missing off the top of my head, so I don't think either of us are doing a particularly great job. Also, that was meaning the pinch, not the taxes. So
yeah, little just ill discipline and stupid stuff that I'm sure they'll look back on and go, yeah, if we tidy up a few of these little things, it puts us in a much better position. But we've got a big game, and it's coming around very quick Friday night. Taking on the Dockers, who have managed to... I'm actually glad they got the win in the end. I'd hate for them to be coming off a loss as well. So it'll be interesting to see, whether Hayden Young's going to be back in that team as well. We'll look forward to that a little bit later on. So do you want to do some votes?
Sure. Oh, you want me to do them first?
Yeah, these votes for Hop and Brew Tours, of course. hopandbrewtours.com.au, book yourself a half or a full day tour. Best breweries across Queensland, Gold Coast and Brisbane. Matt and Joss, absolutely fantastic people. So get yourself, and they do, Christmas parties and stuff like that, and gift vouchers as well. So if you're looking, it is slowly getting to that time of year. Great Father's Day present. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Finger gun. All right, go.
Were you having a stroke then? What was going on? Wilmot 3, Dunkley 2, and I was going to be an absolute shithouser and give Hipwood 1, but I will give it to Levi because he was really good.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to give Will the 3, Levi the 2, and I'm going to give 40 the 1. I thought he was pretty good against Grundy, who's been in red-hot form in the last couple of months. I thought 40 actually did really, really well across the night.
He was good in the first quarter, but I think Grundy got a little bit away from him around the ground. So Fort with 4 votes in the past couple of rounds.
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah.
I don't. Let's turn the page on this one. Close the book. Let's move on to something different.
Oh, do you want to talk about something equally as, but a little less depressing? Was the Twos, who had a shot to win after the siren and missed, and went down to Casey by 4 points. Ty Gallup again had a pretty good game. Brandon Ryan's putting together some really good footy. Oscar played in this game as well, and
sorry, I just saw my face when you said Brandon Ryan's putting together some good. For anyone that might have missed that, go back and look at my accidental reaction to that because it's pretty funny, I think.
Oscar had a great game, 26 hitouts and 13 clearances to go with 23 touches. So he's, at the moment, a very good VFL ruckman, it must be said. It's guys like McFadgen and Curtis McCarthy that are actually carrying that VFL team at the moment as well. And Shadow Brain playing really good footy. Annabelle was really good again in the middle. My boy Printable was all right as well. Yeah, he did. He's not getting afforded as many midfield minutes at the moment, so he's.
Isn't that a good thing though? Because you sort of said that he was more of like a outside running gunner.
Yeah, he's getting there. He'll be all right. Don't worry about him.
The Beaconator was pretty good too.
Yeah, he's always good. He's putting together a really good VFL season, but I mean.
So just a question with him. So is he like a half-back flank, like runner, distributor?
Wilmot. He'll play the Wilmot role. So if Darcy Wilmot goes down with an injury, for whatever reason, I'm knocking on wood here, I think Beacon will get that call
bloody
up.
better be.
Yes.
Now, would it be the similar sort of thing if the Zork would also not be there?
Oh, so yeah.
Because I also am touching on wood. Anyone wondering? It's.
And I guess the question is about Ty Gallup, who is playing really good footy lately. So Smith, Hipwood, that whole forward mix. Are you messing that around again? Let's have a chat about some changes for next week. The easiest one would have to be Froggy comes back in for Duday, you'd say.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Providing he's, cleared to play and everything. You can't really judge, but it didn't look like a major or serious concussion against the Pies. But who knows?
I think he'll be fine to play. But yeah, I would be putting Frog straight back in. I'd be bringing Starcevic straight back in. I think the likelihood of me having to cornrow my hair, which I must say I've been wanting to slightly cut it, but I'm not going to just in case, because if that happens, I have to really full commit to it. So, I mean, I'd be inclined to keep Marshall around until Neil comes back.
Yep.
Just to sort of try that sort of thing. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Brain come in as well, but at the same time, it could just, the balance is a little bit weird. I don't know. The ins and outs seem a little bit kind of vague at this point in time, because anytime we do it, the Q scan report comes out and it's just like, take a Kalashnikov to the squad and see what's going on. So
it's not a good time to be getting a bunch of injuries, is it?
No, and the forward line is having trouble at the moment, but I don't 100% know that it is purely the forward line. So I think there's two things. They're getting stitched up by kind of poor entries, or they were, against Sydney. But their ground ball defensive work was pathetic. I mean, the funny thing about that game is I looked at it before. Tackles inside 50.
Or was it?
There was 5 in the game for both teams. And it was Will Ashcroft with 2, Fort with 1, Hipwood with 1. And
I thought Hippie's tackling across the night was pretty good, actually.
I thought Hipwood was really good. I thought it was like a perfectly serviceable game that he ordinarily would have had, where like we won and everyone would be like, he's a bit shit. It's like, yeah, but he ran himself into the ground and he towed the ball a couple of times. So it's the way with him.
Do you think Will McLaughlin holds his spot?
I don't know who else there is there to put in as a small forward at the moment. Like,
I mean, there's Darcy Craven, who's on the list, untried at this point, but he's had a really good year. Better than Will McLaughlin, probably not.
the thing is that when we're seeing the kind of the relativeness of guys like Craven, and I know Craven and Beacon haven't played at AFL level, but Will McLaughlin has. I mean, the mid-season draft guys can be really good at VFL level, but not quite. You know, that can be the case. And I think putting our faith into guys that are not super proven at the top level can be a bit misguided. I mean, Smith didn't have a good game. He scored a bullshit goal. Well done him. But you need a bit more, you know, whether it's across the ground, whether it's just competing. And there were times where he sort of got... It wasn't that he got outworked. It was that he got out-agiled, where, you know, he was here and he didn't cut off the angle or he didn't put body on, and then it was like the guy just sort of moved around and was like, well, yoink. And you're like, well... I don't see Day making those kind of positional mistakes. And I know saying that, like, I think Day is really conservative and very unambitious, but I think it might be the most...
we need some seniority and some stability, and I think Sam Day is probably that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're floundering in the sense that we're struggling. Charlie Cameron's and Hipwood are not kicking goals, which is, you know, can't say that before. I did say Hipwood's goal to game ratio in finals is not too bad, so keep him around for that. It's nearly twice that of Charlie Kerno, so just remind you of that one. Charlie Kerno sitting at a 1.0 per game, and Hipwood has had some 4-goal game finals. I think he's had 3 in his time, so good for him. The frustrating thing with Hipwood is that he has been very reliable of a set shot in the past. 2 seasons ago, and, you know, every time he got the ball, he was just flushing him.
Yeah.
So this is a long conversation to say, I don't know what they're going to do, and they need to figure this out. But I don't think going super young and bringing in Gallup and bringing in whoever and going...
Not with 2 games left.
The critical mass of injuries is too high, and personnel changes. Like, we need to be almost going more conservative to enable us to, like, just win these games. I don't know. Brooksy, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm worried about Stas because it's a short break. I don't know exactly where this hamstring is at with a trip to Perth. I don't want to bring him in only for him to bugger it and be gone for 6 weeks, especially with Ainsworth out. So if he's legitimate, 100% fine, good to go, then yes, bring him in. If not, I'm swapping Bruce out for Brain.
I would not be opposed to seeing the Brain in.
And then seeing maybe Bruce back down to a sub or something like that, and a bit of shuffling. Yeah, I think McLaughlin holds his spot, Froggy in for Duday, and it just sort of leaves Smith and Day coming up against Luke Ryan and
Darcy.
Yes. And
Jackson. You're forgetting they've got two. You're forgetting they got 2 rucks, man.
Yeah, 2 rucks and that other defender, Brendan Cox, as well. So yeah, I'm probably bringing Sam Day in for a bigger body as well.
Cool.
But
I think
I don't know. There's a lot of changes for round 23 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 of them are forced, so you're looking at it going, well, it's not. You're not actually changing that much, and functionally, I think when we get to finals, you're looking at it going, well, McLaughlin won't be there because Lohman will be there, Marshall probably won't be there because Neil will be there, and then you're going, well, you'll have a back group of, you know, Starcevic and Frog, and a forward group of whoever I just said. So, yeah, I think they've got to try and just get there. And once they get there, go, all right, team win now, have to.
Yes.
You guys know what to do. So,
Yeah.
and I think they're very capable of that being the case. So, yeah, there's no throwing this season out. You know, I think it's a case of depending on what the hell is going on over at Perth and what happens next week is we kind of really need... I mean, if Adelaide somehow managed to lose this, it doesn't really matter who wins out of Adelaide and Collingwood, although if a draw happened, that would be catastrophic. Like it would be when the Fremantle game was sitting at a draw, I'm like, this is... I would rather them win than it be a draw. I don't know, even that doesn't even make any sense. But to me, I like our little half space that we've got. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a case of next week if Adelaide and Collingwood play. If Adelaide win, I think Collingwood can drop to 5th, and it could see us finish 4th with Gold Coast 3rd. And
there's a bit going
Geelong.
on.
So, I mean, the ladder predictor is a whole nother entity, but I don't think that we've entirely cooked this. We just need to make sure that we keep the frying pan on. What?
Have it on keep warm setting. Yeah. Like I said, the context of the loss before, especially when Collingwood opened the door for us on Thursday night for us to jump up to 2nd. And, I mean, if Adelaide loses... and we sitting top of the ladder at the end of this round if we had have got that win yesterday. So coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that sort of stuff. You know, if Adelaide does lose, it means we're just 2 points out of that 4 with a game against Freo and 2 of them playing against each other as well. So that's, as you said, we haven't cooked it, but we're certainly not making it easy for ourselves, are we?
This season is entirely wild, isn't it?
It really is. It really, really is. All right. I know there was a couple of questions in amongst the Discord community, thanks to Crisp Communications, chriscoms.co. If you've got a small business that needs any sort of marketing, or you've got a podcast of your own, Abby and the team at Crisp Comms make it all happen. And they're giving you free Brisbane Lions fan cast stickers as well at our website. So here we go. Still premieres on the Discord. My question is, and admittedly it didn't happen tons tonight, but happens essentially every week, why are the umpires so reluctant to award Charlie Cameron free kicks? I know he exacerbates the hold, but it's still there ever since Dylan Grimes versus Charlie Cameron. I feel like the umps don't pay holding frees his way.
Hard to argue. I mean, the thing that I found the most weird was the one that he gave away, which was just he had eyes on the ball and it was two-handed push to the chest. And it's like... yeah. That's forward craft. That's what you're supposed to do. And then he obviously gave away 50-metre penalty. But, the old Grimey, old Dylan Grimes, that absolute shit show in 2019. So a long time with him not getting free kicks. He
does play for it.
He does, but also so does most people.
And Bailey got another one. Bailey got another one this week.
Yes, he did. This one, I think, you'll get less argument from me. I don't love seeing Charlie as the deepest forward. You know, I don't think it's ever really been a thing that's been fine at times, but it's like, you know, you're playing Pagan's paddock when you're doing that, and that's not what we're doing. So him in one-on-one in tight spots, no good.
The days of him burning opponents back to goal are just gone because he's just lost that pace as he's gotten older. Like it was a sure thing 5 years ago. Now it's just sort of, I don't know that he's necessarily quicker than everyone anymore. He's probably back in the pack in terms of top speed, and he's got to rely on footy now, if anything, and it's just not happening for him with regularity anymore. The rest of the questions are all about Eric Hipwood, so we've spoken about him. He is the whipping boy these days. Like I said, I thought he was good on the weekend. Yeah, and
I'm going to plead the fifth on this one and just say no comment because I grow slightly sick and tired of defending a player that gives everything to the team, like unequivocally, and wears it from the fans, and maybe if the fans pulled their fucking heads in and gave the guy some support, he wouldn't miss set shots. So I think yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
I think the play that sort of would sum up Eric Hipwood's contribution is, I think, that the amount of marks he took, sort of 60, 70 out from goal on the lead up, wheeled around, and then just absolutely lasered Logan Morris. And I think a 1-on-2, like that's what he does. And I get it. Most people don't really see it, because especially when you've got Charlie Cameron, as you said, not kicking goals, when Rayner's not kicking goals, when Archie's down on form, as I said before, it is the default. It is the easy to go Eric Hipwood. Every other club's got a key forward that's kicking 3 goals a game. Why aren't you doing that? But his role is very different. So, yeah, we've got him till 2029 anyway. That's the contract we've given him, and it probably means that somewhere along the line we're going to lose a Ty Gallop or a Logan Morris after his next contract runs out. But that's down the line. So.
Also, just to dispel a bit of misconception about that, I read somewhere that someone quoted that it was a $900,000 a season contract, which is just categorically
There's absolutely no way we are paying Eric Hipwood $900,000 a year.
It's categorically not correct, because it was done before the new not CBA.
CBA, yeah.
Is it CBA? So centre bounce attendance. They had a new centre bounce attendance, and that's what made all the pays go. Collective bargaining agreement. I'm not a financial man, as you can tell. Also, sorry for telling our listeners to pull their heads in, but I think sometimes a little bit of reflection is good. So apologies, but also, can you blame me? We are not paying him that much. His contract was about longevity, and if I'm to understand, it's not a super high. He wanted to stay in Brisbane, and he's like,
yeah,
I want to stay here. I don't want to move. I'm a weirdo with a strange haircut, of course. So we are not paying him close to $1 million. It's insane.
I think we might have 2 players at $1 million or close to $1 million. I think on form we're overpaying Charlie at the moment.
Absolutely.
When he signed his deal, it was a good deal.
I didn't think so. When Cameron increased for 2 more years, I was hesitant about that. That sent off because you could see him losing his pace slightly. But if Eric Hipwood had been on whatever contract that fictitious nonsense was, he would have been like one of the highest paid players in the game, and he was never reported as that. He's never been reported as one of the highest paid players of our team. So I don't know.
I think we've managed our salary cap quite well. We're going on the Geelong route of, we're going to pay you less than, Huey was offered 1.7 or whatever from St Kilda or whatever it was reported last year. There's no way we'd be touching that. He'd be on 7 or 8. You'd have to think. There'd be very few that would be pushing that 6-7 figure.
And I think with not Danzig, what are they called? What's the broadcast folk that are trying to get out of the
DAZN.
I think DAZN are going to absolutely cause havoc when they're all of the players' pay structures are going to get absolutely monstered, because the broadcast rights are going to come down. So anyone that's basically been contracted longer than what contracted Hugh on, I think it was until the last part of that negotiation. They're going to struggle. So because it was looking very much like your 800, 900,000 a year player was going to be kind of average salary for a player that plays every week kind of thing, not just like some scrub in the twos. It's not your average player, but your average playing player was going to get that kind of I was going to say allowance income. Yeah, that will not be the case. So I guess good on you, Hugh. You'll end up being reasonably high paid. So yes, money.
I don't even know that we'll be paying. Like as I said, we spoke about Sam Draper a few weeks ago. I can't imagine we'd be paying him any more than six or seven, and then even Oscar Allen. I don't know that we'll be paying any more than 800,000.
You got to pay to be in this club. I mean, they pay you, but you have to pay something, which is the difference in wages. So, bring them all in. Give them house and land packages next to the Wake Old prison, and everyone will be happy.
Don't know about that.
Does the Wake Old prison still exist? I don't know. It's like,
yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. Right across from the RSPCA. All right, let's have a look at tipping, and that this current juncture there is still Adelaide and West Coast to be ran, and at this point. Adelaide have now moved to a point up, so there you go. I tipped Collingwood.
How good?
So Hawthorn absolutely monstered them, which was good to see on Thursday night. I did get Brisbane wrong, and so at this point I'm sitting on 7 with still that game to finish up.
Yes, that is correct. I am the same.
Let's have a look to next week. And I tell you what I'm going to do. Regardless, the next 2 weeks, I'm going to tip Fremantle and I'm going to tip Hawthorn. This reason and this reason alone is because every time I don't tip Brisbane, they win. So I'm tipping against them as an act of go and win, please.
Not every time, right?
Not every time, but I think it's like 4 from 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it might be 5 and 2. Or 4, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, I will be continuing to tip Brisbane because that's what I do.
Let's start on the Friday night, Essendon and St Kilda. What a great primetime match that will be. St Kilda, thank you, by 15 points.
I think I just left it at the default 20.
As I said, I'll be tipping Fremantle.
Lions.
Reverse psychology. Suns and Giants at People's First. Giants have had a couple of quietish weeks. I mean, yes, they ended up beating North by 50-odd, 54, but it was a little bit close for a while, and they got hammered last week by the Dogs.
Yeah, football's been really weird this week. Like, there haven't really been any good games on.
No.
Except probably the one that's on right now that we're missing, where the ghost of Harley Reid's probably kicked 5 goals.
All right, Suns and Giants. Suns are at this point heavy favourites according to people.
I mean, Giants do. I had a question in the question time that I forgot to ask because we got on a roll about Eric Hipwood and centre-bounce attendances and all sorts of stuff. So yeah. I just realised then. I'm going to tip the Suns just because. Yeah, they're pretty good. It might be my token tip of the week. That's like I'll tip them, but I think the other team will win, which I'm 50-50 from.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that. I will tip the Suns. Geez, Port and Carlton. What a nothing burger game that'll be.
I'm going to tip Port Adelaide because Port Freo for a while. They absolutely killed them like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, true.
And, Port Adelaide are kind of... Ken Hinkley's funny. Carlton, not funny. So, that's my metric. If your team's a bit funny, then you get a tip.
Hawthorn to beat Melbourne. Adelaide, Collingwood. Yeah, you got to go to the Crows at the moment. Although this game, and it looks like Riley Thilthorpe is going to be missing. So, we'll have to see about that. North v Richmond. Duck.
At Ninja. Which one's Ninja?
At Tassie.
Is that like Ninja as in like the appliance brand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. You still got that ice cream maker?
Better believe it.
We haven't got it out in a while, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, been a bit slack on the making of one's own ice cream, but...
I'll go North, but I could easily change that as well.
Is Larky back playing, or I've not been keeping up with North.
No, and nor should you. I don't believe so.
Right, okay, fair enough. Sydney versus the Cats. Now, can they just avenge the 2022 grand final as well?
Yeah, I really do hope the Swans win. It'll make me feel better about myself.
Get Hickey out of retirement to avenge his terrible performance.
I don't know that's the answer, mate.
Could be. Okay, and Bulldogs. Yeah. Cool. Well, that was a fun round of tipping. And these games are pretty flat, aren't they? There's like one good one and the rest is shit.
Yeah, we are. Well, Adelaide Collingwood should be a barn burner, and hopefully Suns and Giants, and hopefully us and Freo will be good games as well.
All right, that's true. There were 3 good games.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there is a lot of junk time in there, isn't there?
So the question that I had, we'll go back to question time, was not a question directed to the fan cast, but it is from my brother, overseas brother. So a bit less rambling than the other one. But it just says, what's your thoughts on teams needing to finish in the top 4? And I'm asking this to you because...
I mean, it is a very obvious advantage to give yourself a second chance. It gives you a loss, especially if you can get 2 home finals. I think for Adelaide, like having not played finals for 8 years or whatever it is, I think them getting 2 home finals will be a huge advantage. Having said that, it wasn't for us. In 2019, we got 2 home finals and shit the bed. Obviously for us last year, we had the 1 home final, then it was on the road for the next 3 games. I mean, I think the advantage is obvious, is being able to afford yourself a loss, like an off day, and still be able to regroup and go again. For us this year, it doesn't bother me so much, and I think obviously a big part of that is knowing that we won it last year from outside the 4, and secondly, our form at the Gabba this year has just been pass, so whatever. But I do not want to play GWS at the Gabba in an elimination final, I'll tell you that.
No, I would rather not do that, to be honest. So he followed up and said, even because I said it's of paramount importance, because of course I said those words. And I said, even with a team with bags of finals experience struggles from outside. He said, even with the current evenness and last season. And I said, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, think about what we spoke about earlier in the show, the games we've just coughed up against Adelaide, GWS, Sydney, Melbourne, North. You can afford to have one of those in the finals, and hopefully that's it, 1, and then go again. It just affords you a bit of an off day. Whereas,
who are the teams you think could win the premiership realistically?
Just about all of them. Just about all of them. I don't think... I'm counting the Suns out because they've had no finals experience ever.
But Adelaide haven't either, aside from Tex
I know, but they look
Laird.
so much better. They look so much... Adelaide's... See, the thing is, Adelaide's best is bloody good. Collingwood's best is really good. Our best, very bloody good. Freo's best, Geelong's best. I think Geelong's got a couple of faults, especially defensively. Hawthorn, I don't know that they can string it together for 4 weeks. The Dogs, obviously, they can make it. Their best is bloody good as well. Look what they did to the Giants last week. And the Giants' best is pretty hard to stop as well. So, of the top 8 right now, I reckon at 5. I wouldn't be surprised.
See, it's weird. It's almost because, I think that the teams that can win it is kind of conditional on where they finish. So I think if Adelaide finish in the top 4, they can win it. If Fremantle finish in the top 4, I think they can also win it. But if they finish outside of the top 4, I don't think either of them can at all. But then, kind of in a weird way, I think GWS and us could win it from outside the 4, but only if Adelaide and Fremantle are in the 4. If that makes sense. Like,
Sure.
And if Adelaide and Freo, or there's interstate teams in the top 4, I don't think that the Bulldogs or Hawthorn could win, because I just don't think that those interstate clubs travel particularly well going interstate. Yeah. Whereas, if they're playing elimination finals, against Collingwood or some shit, and they're playing at the MCG anyway, it doesn't matter. So it's a weird metric nonsense that goes on inside my brain each and every week. So we can look forward to that. So that is the end of that. Get on with the wheel.
All right, let's do the wheel.
I'm assuming I absolutely wiped it last week with Stevie Lawrence.
That's right, yeah.
I actually did get some feedback. It's turning into a real family affair. I got a message from my mum that said that he got sacked from St Kilda for drink driving, and that Ackermanis described him as like a mega party boy.
Well, that's no good for little Stevie Lawrence, but at least someone's got some memories of the man. All right, let's roll. It's my turn to pass or hold, isn't it?
Correct.
All right. Ooh, Josh Drummond. You want him? All right, you can have him.
Send him my way.
I do like Josh Drummond though. One of the greatest kicks of the footy. Oh, Matthew Kennedy, the big bald man himself. All right.
Is Matthew Kennedy the guy that I got mixed up with that other guy that was a ruckman around the same time?
Yeah, very possibly. I think so. Look, I haven't got a whole lot to say about Matthew Kennedy other than I know he was very bald and wore number 41. That's about it.
It's one hell of a assessment. Like, normally it's me doing these horrendous ones, but you finally caught what ails you. So sucked in.
Let's have a look here. At 138. No, that's it's a different Matthew Kennedy, isn't it?
Yeah, he shrunk.
There we go.
Turned into a weird pug-faced, black-haired man, and played for Carlton and GWS and the other one, Bulldogs.
There you go. 188 games for Matthew Kennedy for 30 goals. What's he listed as here? Defender.
Ruck? Surely a ruck.
Listed here as a defender. He wouldn't have been a number 1 ruck because he would have been there a majority of the time with
Crackers
and Matthew Clark.
Matthew Clark, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I haven't got much to say about him. Played 8 games in our 2001 Premiership year and was not cited afterwards.
Oh, it's a bit of a shame. Well, Josh Drummond, if his hamstrings weren't made of string, he would have been thought of the way that you think of Daniel Rich. If his hamstrings had not gone, because I think he had the height. He was kind of like that hybrid running defender. That, yeah, he's kind of like one of those ones where it's like, yeah, the streets remember so and so. I don't know who's on the street and why they specifically remember like really obscure footballers, but allegedly that's what they do. So, yeah. He played not enough games really. 94 to be specific, and 20 in the 2009 season where we made the final series. Had a couple of games, had a bit of an eye for goal, bit of the Wilmots about him where he would just rock up and just scorch one through. I think I remember, now this, I could have this slightly wrong, but I feel like I remember going to a game with both my brothers, and we had like a little cheeky bet on to see who would kick the most goals. And those two fuckers picked Bradshaw and Brown, and I picked Drummond, and they all tied on 3. So if that actually happened, and it's not just a figment of my imagination, some bean counter will be able to tell me. But I feel like that happened. It might have been against Port Adelaide, but it also probably wasn't. So
you should get the win by default there as well, because you've been
Well, I picked a
Dealt a bum
defender,
hand.
and what is it like? My biggest bro just craps on about defenders all the time. So, put your money where your mouth is, and I did on Josh Drummond's left leg. So,
Well,
that's
there you
the end of
go. That is that's a very underwhelming wheel, I must say. And I'm sorry I don't have much more to say about it.
I reckon
Matthew
you
Kennedy.
really should have just increased the wheel to 100 games, because these like slightly depressing in between 50 and 100 ones where you're like, oh man.
But that
Could have been
also
so
is what
good.
makes it a little bit fun. And I'm sure there are plenty of people listening right now that have got fond memories of Matthew Kennedy, and they will be able to tell us about them. And you can send us an email or get in touch on our socials.
Do you want me to give my mum your phone number so she can harass you about players that you forgot because you were 6 when they were playing?
Nah.
All right, cool. Sorry, mum.
That's right. You can get in touch, Mandy. It's all fine. All right. Well, unless there's anything you want to talk about for this Sydney game, we've got a game against Freo to look forward to, and they are playing pretty good footy at the moment. They've lost one of their last 11, something like that, and they have
Been
Come
behind
back.
at 3/4 time at 7 or something.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough game, a really, really tough game. Step number 1, Dunkley to Sarong has to happen. Has to.
Yeah, because Sarong's going to slight me by playing a good game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Did Nat Fyfe play? Or did his leg like spontaneously combust? I thought he got selected.
Yeah, no, he did, actually, because him and Travis Boak swapped jumpers at the end. That was nice. That was cute.
Oh, that's nice. Good for them.
There's going to be a watch on Hayden Young, and if you're Freo, surely you're not playing him. He's missed so much footy already, and then he comes back, does his adductor. You're not bringing him back after 1 week. Surely you're being cautious with him. And maybe that's just me telling myself that, because he's very good at footy and makes a whole lot of difference to their lineup. So, yeah. Midfield's going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, we just need to kind of be generally a bit aware. I think our midfield has a higher ceiling than theirs in terms of output, but yeah, the anchor's kind of missing. So hopefully with another kind of week of, whether it's theoretical training or whatever the hell you want to call it, of just them being able to gel, and, hopefully they make some selection calls early in the week, whether it's internally or not, just to kind of give them room to breathe. Do you think we could see O back for this game?
I think we could, actually. The way Fags is talking about 2 rucks, and, like I said, he was very good in the 2s on the weekend. There's every chance that O comes back in for Henry Smith. And I don't love that, because it hasn't been good for us.
No. That thought just came to me now, and I kind of wish I didn't have it. So,
But I think there's every chance that happens.
where are they weak? The
I
Fremantle.
think they're bottom 6. It's gotten better, though. Actually, I was meant to ask you a question that got sent through last week on our Instagram. Of our best 22, could you pick our bottom 5 players? Because apparently
Currently or generally?
No, our best, our best lineup. Who would be our bottom 5? Apparently,
Well, the thing is,
I'd
have to put them out,
to do it,
and I'd have to map them out, and I could definitely tell you who our bottom 5 are.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, top of me head, we're going to go, and I'm sorry because this will make some people unhappy, Ruckman, whoever it is, Hipwood, Archie, Leicester, and one other schmuck.
It's hard to do, though.
Henry Smith or Day.
Yeah. I mean, on form, you might have to say Charlie Cameron this year as well. So it depends.
Sorry, I meant to say Charlie Cameron. So there's 6. Nailed it.
It's a tough exercise. Apparently, SEN did this last week and struggled. So it's a good position to be in.
That's flattering. Good for them.
But yeah, you're right. Oscar could come back in for this game, and that could very well come as a detriment to us.
One thing, I'm going to tempt fate here, but I don't think they're quite as good coming from the back half as some other teams that we have played, even though statistically it says that they might be. Luke Ryan is not a good kick. He butchers the ball a lot. So be prepared for that, where he will kick the ball just inside the centre square, like on the sides, whilst trying to kick the ball on the wing, and it'll go in the inside. So set up for that both sides all of the time, because he'll do it 7 out of 20.
Jordan
Very
Clark's had a
specific
pretty good
number
year for them as well.
Jordan Clark?
Yeah, he's had a pretty good year for them.
Yeah, and they've got that other Warner. Corey Warner.
Yeah.
Is his name Corey Warner as well?
No, there's
Warner?
Carl Warner, yeah, and then they've
Carl Weathers Warner.
They got a Wagner as well, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
But they all look the same. They all basically look like Himmelberg a bit.
A little bit. They got a couple of dangerous small forwards as well. Swikowski is very underrated. And,
he's their barometer, mate. Their barometer.
Obviously, Murphy Reed is putting together a very good year as well, and will be right up there when it comes to Rising Star at the end of the year. So, there's certainly no mugs.
No, they're not. Yes. So Fife
they can be flaky, and so can we.
Yeah, they can be flaky, and we're less frequently flaky than they are historically. Maybe not. I'm not going to be Craig McRae about this and be like, well, we've won one of our last 2 or whatever the hell he said. Enjoy that. But we have won a lot more games over the last 7 years compared to Fremantle. So,
yeah. Look, it'd be nice. And
we've just got to go there, and we've got to go there and win. We have to win. It is a non-negotiable. We've done it quite well when our back is to the wall, and I think that, funnily enough, when we're the underdogs is when we're at our best. I don't know how that works.
An amazing knack of putting our own backs against the wall, though, don't we?
It's almost just like, how do they do that? How do they conspire to have this? Is it some sort of like inferiority complex where they're like, well, we got to mathematically make it so that we can't finish with a home final just to like screw ourselves so that it'll get the best out of us? Will this end up being some sort of amazing story 20 years down the track where they admit to it all? Also, the moon landing's not real. Also,
okay, now the tinfoil hat is really coming out.
What was that thing? What was that thing that Matheson said that time? I don't know. Let's not talk about that.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, that was strange. Anyway, I think now that we're talking about conspiracy theories from the 60s and 70s, it's probably time to pack it in.
Hold on. What was the 70s? Or do you just not know when the moon landing was?
The moon landing was in 69. It's not like the day after they're like, well, that didn't happen. I think there was probably time for it to germinate.
All right, you're technically correct, which, as we know, is the best kind of correct.
This is why I'm saying it's time to pack it in, because we're getting into some weird areas. This is not what people are shouting us coffees for.
I au contraire. I think this is exactly the kind of thing that will take us to the next level. So, as it is. So, the end of that one. Fair.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week.